So I decided to do a thing. I don't know how good of an idea this is, but we'll see. Um, I have opened up my Discord. Ask me anything within reason. Make sure it's PG. Has to relate to you know sports, anything I do, all that stuff, yada yada. You can even ask me thought-provoking questions. Who knows? We'll dive into what the Discord has to offer. They're the bright and shining minds, the future leaders of our country. We'll start with, is salsa technically a soup? And is mayonnaise an instrument? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Luke Breadstick, favorite car class to call. So, with the races at Legit Speedway Park, they have usually 4 or 5 different classes of cars. They may alternate a 5th one or a 6th one in there, but of all the ones that are weekly, late models are hard to beat. Even if they're limited late models, those things are just the fastest things on the racetrack. They're fun to watch. They're letting it all hang loose, high, low, and in the middle. That's just, in real life, that's my favorite to call. On iRacing, the best cars, or the best kind of car I like to call, 87s or the Xfinity car, because those always provide exciting racing. The truck's not bad. Anything else, I haven't done a whole lot of road races on iRacing, but the 87s and the truck and the Xfinity car always put on a good show, and the limited late model or the late model on the dirt side in real life put on a good show. Brad Scusa, what is one suggestion that you would make that could enhance a broadcast of the Lucas Oil Late Model Series on Flow? Okay, so I haven't watched many of the races, so I don't have enough to form an opinion on that, so to speak. But any broadcast I watch on Flow, they do a good job. They don't hire idiots over there, at least what I think. I think they all look like a quality product on there. Dylan Fink asked, what would happen if Pinocchio said, "My nose will grow now"? Okay, so he's telling the truth, but he's also telling a lie. Oh, that's hurt my head. My guess would be the end-all, be-all. This is like did the chicken come before the egg, or the egg come before the chicken, or what? But I think his nose will grow. That's just what my gut says. I don't have any other rationale to that, but that's just what I think. Smash, who was your favorite NASCAR driver growing up? Who's your current favorite NASCAR driver? And the same question for your least and your favorite drivers and why. So my favorite driver growing up was Jeff Gordon. My grandpa, he would always have the races on. He'd have the early morning or the evening. He'd have the Formula One races on Speed Channel back in the day. And he would have NASCAR, whatever sort of channel they'd be on. In the late 90s, early 2000s, anything from TNN to NBC to, I can't even begin to remember others, but I remember TNN a lot. They had a lot of races, but I saw this, and I even have a little diecast of it on my desk, this rainbow car just killing the field. And I was like, man, I like that car. I like all the colors. It's colorful. It's cool. So I settled on Jeff Gordon, and it was a fun ride till he retired. Thought he was going to win a championship his last year, but he just missed it. I think all the other, I kind of morphed into a Hendrick guy. I enjoyed the heck out of Jimmy Johnson. He's awesome. Jeff Gordon discovered him, by the way. I loved the best time where I enjoyed every driver where I like, okay, if any of these 4 win, I'll be happy, is when they had Mark Martin driving the 5, shout Arkansas, Dale Jr. in the 88, Jimmy Johnson, and Jeff Gordon. That was when I enjoyed Hendrick the most. My current favorite, I like all the Alpha Prime guys over in Xfinity. They're cool. LeVar Scott, he's going to be a good one. Brennan Poole, gosh, he's going to win one eventually. if I had a nickel for every time he was leading late in a race and he ended up not winning, I mean, I'd have $1 worth. But yeah, that's they are. And then I like a lot of the Cup field. There's not really anyone that I'm just like, God, if he wins, it's gonna suck. I think right now I'm kind of settled on. I like all the Trackhouse guys. They all are unique. Ross Chastain, he'll literally knock the wall down to try to help himself win. I think that Shane Van Gisbergen, unbelievable talent. He's starting to figure it out in the ovals. I just like his personality. Connor Zilich, I mean, feel bad. Poor dude's finished like last in every race for the last month and a half. Finally got past the first couple laps the other day at Atlanta. I'm sorry, Echo Park. But he's been awesome. Still like all the Hendrick guys, Kyle Larson's cool, all them. I like Denny. If you had to tell me to pick one, like you could only just pick one, you can't like them all, I'd probably say Denny Hamlin. I mean, he was around when I was like 10 years old. I remember him winning his first race at Daytona. That was cool. The other part of the question, who was your least favorite driver and why? Like I said, now I don't really have one. There's not one I just despise. I mean, yeah, there's not one I just dislike. When I was growing up, for whatever reason, and it was weird now that I look back at it, like any guys that were like older guys, like for whatever reason, like Jimmy Spencer, I just wasn't a fan of. And then like when he got more into television, I was like, okay, yeah, I was wrong. But of course, 7, 8-year-old me. But I liked Earnhardt. I liked Junior. Tony Stewart was one kind of on the fence about. I had no distaste either way for him. Like there was nobody where I was just like throwing things if they won the race. So yeah, that's my answer to that. I hate that I don't hate anybody. I know that's not a fulfilling answer, but that's just what I have. Live in the Discord. Why does Arkansas football suck? Okay. There's a few answers to this. First off, them being in the SEC where there's probably at least 2 teams in their conference that'll end up being in the national semifinal every year. And those are all kind of interchangeable from like a pool of 4 or 5. That's an uphill battle. They don't take it as seriously as they need to, probably. They were fine with being average when Sam Pittman was there, and the fan base could only take that for so long. We were awful when he took over, and then had 7, 8 wins, had a couple big ones, beat Texas, a lot of ranked wins. They beat Tennessee, not this last season, but the season before, and I was like, okay, I might have something here. But they could just never. They could beat the bad teams, but they could never beat teams that were kind of the same or better than them. They'd rear up every once in a while and do that. But I remember where the first red flag popped up where they started the year undefeated. I think it was his second or his third year. And they went down to Georgia, and he said in so many words, yeah, College Game Day isn't here because of Georgia. It's because we're here. And then they proceeded to get ran off the field by them. But there's not a lot of money pumped in. Arkansas is a richer state than you think. Walmart was founded here. The Waltons, I mean, they have I think it's the Walton School of Business now over at University of Arkansas. J.B. Hunt, I believe that's a trucking company. Tyson Chicken, Jerry Jones, owner of the Cowboys. He's an Arkansas guy. He loves his Razorbacks. He was a couple-year letterman for him back when he was in school. So I think it's a vicious cycle because people don't want to give NIL to the team because they're not a good program, but they won't be a good program until they get more NIL. Like the basketball team, for instance, the athletic director didn't have much to do with that. He brought in, John Calipari came to Arkansas. He didn't bring him in. He was just like, hey, do you think he'd be interested in this? And John Tyson talked to him. I think it was John Tyson talked to him. Said, hey, why don't you coach Arkansas and I'll help you out? Because, it's easier, you pay top dollar for seven or eight dudes. I mean, that's a basketball team. And people know what John Calipari is capable of. He knows he can get dudes. He'll be able to do that as long as he's able to breathe and walk and understand how a basketball team works. It's easier to fund a 12, 13 player basketball team than a 75, 80, 90 man roster in football. So that's really the thing. I just think it's got to start with the right guy, someone that can win with less, which I think Ryan Silverfield could be that guy. He needs to, elevate the roster and instill some belief, show that, hey, we're trying our best here. We just need a little bit more help in the financial department. That will lead to more people going to games, more people donating to the collective, more people just wanting to help the program out. Because Arkansas can be a winner in football. They've showed it when they had Ryan Mallett and Darren McFadden, and they had the three-headed monster in the backfield. And, 08, they had a bunch of good years in the late 2000s and early 2010s. I mean, there was one year they went 10-2, and their 2 losses were to the 2 teams that play in the national championship game. Like, that's not bad. I just there's not really just one answer to that. I think the thing that they're doing better now is recruiting kids in state. I'll give you a prime example. Courtney Crutchfield, who's probably going to start for them. He started his career at Mizzou. He's a kid from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I don't think they did a good enough job keeping talent in the state. Now, just recruiting talent in the state is not going to be enough to win an SEC championship by any means, but it's a good foundation. Because Arkansas has produced NFL talent, not as much as Major League Baseball talent or NBA talent. I'm sure percentages it probably has, but that's the other thing is Arkansas overall is not just an amazing state at the high school level. There's good teams that are nationwide good, but I mean, we touch the football mecca at the high school level. I mean, we share a border with Texas. I mean, Oklahoma's not that far behind. I mean, I think Arkansas is better than Missouri at high school football as a whole, but it's not like there's just a ton to choose from. Like, Texas could go compete in the SEC just with talent from the state of Texas. Florida can do the same thing with Florida, Georgia, the same thing with kids from the state of Georgia, but you can't just win it with in-state kids. You certainly can't do it at Arkansas, but I don't think there's like an overnight fix. But I think the first thing that needs to be done is you need to prove like, hey, we got our ducks in a row. The only thing that is holding us back is roster construction and money, and that's where I think that is. Next question from Smash. One earlier. Have you ever considered a job in radio or some sort of broadcasting aside from streaming on your own page? Just asking because you have an awesome speaking voice. Yeah, I have. I've worked a radio station in my town. I cut ads on the freelance level for different businesses. I lend out my voice to some schools and other entities. I also do sports broadcasting. I do stuff for Henderson State University. I've done stuff for iRacing, ESPN Plus. So I mean, my suave radio voice has given me many a pathway to greatness, I guess you could say. That's one thing. The ultimate dream job for me would be to be a professional sports team announcer, either through the PA, which is the arena voice, or the TV or radio voice. I mean, honestly, there was one job that was posted in Northwest Arkansas that a guy that is the radio voice for Razorback women's basketball and Razorback baseball, he also had a radio show. His job at that radio station got posted. I'm like, man, that'd be a fun job. You have a 2-hour radio or 2 or 3 hour radio show Monday through Friday, and then you get to go call SEC basketball and baseball. I'm like, God, that'd be a blast. But I like what I do now. It's a lot of travel, but it's fun. I really think if you're doing something that's fun, you're not really working at all. That's just how I look at it. But so yeah, that was a few questions sent into the Discord. Feel free to ask more. There's a channel in there, Ask Decon, under the YouTube section. That was fun. I enjoyed these. They were thought-provoking questions that I just never really get asked during a stream. But that was fun. Feel free to add Eddie into the comments below, but keep them PG. Don't do anything stupid. Be adults here. If you have any more, you can put them in the Discord, put them in the comments below, or just send them any other way. But I appreciate y'all watching. I'll have more YouTube content. Look out. Going to probably make a college football series or something. I don't know. I might even stream a few times to YouTube like I did last night. I didn't really check out the numbers yet, but, I can't believe, I don't believe it really hurt anything. But I appreciate y'all, and catch you in the next one.